Hello and welcome guys to what is going to be a super duper quick summary of the latest news, the Baltic Division's DLC, which is going to be coming free to us in early January apparently, which we know might be as early as June because that is the first half of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it does come out super late. We're all hoping, well I especially was hoping and trying to message the devs to release it for Christmas, but that's obviously not going to happen, especially considering Christmas is actually 16 days away. Poor effort. Anyway, this guy is pacing, talking. I mean, I've sped him up because it's just a lot of absolute nonsense and waffle. He talks and talks and talks, but doesn't actually say anything, just uses buzzwords like we're so dedicated and committed, etc. There's the quick summary of this bit. But I gotta say, this is this is my favourite part so far. This very beautiful sort of intro.
All right, here we go. So you can see that here we have some guests.
Right, time to speed it up again, because basically, I mean, you know what, I rate the fact that they're trying to make this more fun and less boring and a little bit more charismatic. I do think they've taken that feedback on board, which is good. Fun little game there. Essentially, they're just playing a bit of a teaser of, guess what this is? And essentially, it'll come out later on that the first DLC is in fact the Baltics, which again is going to be early 2026, which again, early could mean the first 6 months, who knows. But anyway, and then it goes on, basically that's the only bit they talk about Broken Arrow, and the rest of it, I stopped watching because I stopped caring after that point, I'll be honest. I mean, there was only 1,600 people in the live stream, and I think that number dropped rapidly after Broken Arrow bit was over. But anyway, what we're going to have a look at now is the trailer that they published for us. We're going to talk about some of the new units that we know already in the game, which is basically the ones they show anyway, kind of boring. That's not really a spoiler. And we'll look at that way. Right, okay, so obviously there's the specializations we currently have. And I'll be honest, my guess was going to be Canada. Clearly that's wrong. I mean, I thought it makes sense as a US allied spec. I think Europe should be its own faction, not a specialization. So, whether that gets moved around in the future, we'll see. But, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia there. The Scimitar, which is actually a British vehicle. So, it's surprising to see it. There we go. Some Russian tanks that we've seen already. A Leopard, which, to be fair, they have the A7 already in game. This one's just got APS. At the CV90 family, again, something that we already knew was in the game. There's a lot of ways to have a look at those units and see them. But the Vilkas, again, another unit. For anyone who's played zombies, you know that the Vilkas is in the game already. Got some infantry. I mean, they look cooler with berets on as opposed to helmets, but that can't be safe. You don't want shrapnel on your head. Obviously the Panzer Haubitze 2000 there, which is German made, but there we go. I mean, it's the Baltics, but none of it, like barely anything is their own production. It's mostly like German, British, imported stuff. Yeah, that's a Hind. That's obviously already in the game. Looks pretty cool though. Not sure what that thing is, but it can shoot through trees, which is pretty cool. Okay, interesting. A new map as well. Something to look forward to. This does kind of look a bit... It gives me Ignalina power plant vibes. Just like, change it up a bit so the teacher doesn't notice we've copied each other's homework. But there we go. And by the way, with regards to the vehicle that I see in the background, I think that's the Vilka CV90. Obviously, that's American arty right here. That's a Leopard. And that's an Augusto 139. Obviously, a Black Hawk right there. Now, what's funny to me is that, well, these new units aren't really that new. The units we got shown, okay, interesting, some comments here, but the units that we got shown, you can actually play already in the game. And before I do that, I will demonstrate some of those units nice and early, but I just want to show you, I was quite curious to see, has the number of players picked up because of the update announcement? No, it hasn't. Cool. Maybe it will do later on tonight, but here's some of the other units that... you can see, so the Albatross there, the L-39, which is a training plane made into a fighter. We've also got the Landy, so Land Rover Defender. Cool bit of kit. Again, British. This is what? Is it Italia? Potentially, I'm not sure about that one. this is obviously British, German. There we go. The Leopard 2A8. Obviously, you can see the APS panels. Cool looking bit of kit. I don't think they actually have this in the Baltic states yet. It's still on order, but there we go. I don't know what this is. Obviously, that's a Mercedes badge, which I think is pretty funny that they've basically changed up for the Broken Arrow logo, which is, yeah, a nice little touch. I like that. But yeah, that's the thing that we saw shooting through trees earlier, which is pretty funny. I mean, basically all AA shoots through trees up to a point. But yeah, so obviously 6 big boy missiles, which is actually kind of interesting. We also have, there's the new map advertised, the Panzerhaubitze 2000, beautiful, and this basically, which is, in my opinion, a better looking version of a Hammer, and probably has the same amount of supply. It is a cool little looking vehicle, but essentially, a lot of those units we know about already, so let's jump into the game and demonstrate them. Okay, so here we have the recon tab. Basically, this mod's been updated to include some of these vehicles in the game. Here we go. There's a SCAR, there's an HK. Essentially, well, I guess this is actually, to be honest, a very direct, quick equivalent of the Rangers RRC. Base identical stats, also got a laser designator. So Jaegers, by the way, is hunters in German or Estonian, whatever language that is in. And it's cool that obviously European things have like different logos, etc. A bit of history, a bit of animals, etc. That is cool about, you know, the European states. We look at these scouts as well. So again, basically a Spike short range SR. Let's have a look at some of the weapons. So it's a fire and forget. Okay, so it's guided at 800 meters, I suppose. The missile itself, 700 penetration and 10.5 damage. But I mean, similar to Javelin, basically, but obviously, I assume, well, it is front attack as opposed to anything else. The R20, I'm not familiar with that weapon at all. These guys look pretty cool. Nice uniform, nice little caps. I'm sure that they will get edited as time goes on. But there we go. We've got a Negev. For anyone playing Call of Duty, you know what the Negev is. So yeah, basically another sort of reconnaissance team that, again, very similar to the Jaegeris, but the price for the Jaegers is actually the same. I'm sure the price will get adjusted, but this is obviously a lot more of an effective squad than these guys, especially considering you've got, well, the laser designator with these guys, the extra armor, and the extra view range. So that's going to be changed, of course it is. But maybe the Spike is actually going to be a good weapon. We're going to look next at the infantry. Now, there is a lot of infantry. I think the game, you know, on Slytherin's website, they've already published some of the changes. They said 20 new units, infantry and vehicles, and this is a lot of them. Let's have a look at these. What are these guys? So they've got a Moors. We're familiar with the Moors. A G36. I do know what that is. Is this basically like, yeah, a mechanized dismount troop? Yeah, looks like it might be. Yeah, MG3s are cool. In the game, though, their stats are basically very similar to a normal machine gun that's 7.62. So there's nothing unique about that. The rifle itself, so the G36, again, very similar stats to what is normal. No surprises. The Moors is the Moors. Everybody knows what that is. Actually, this is, well, is that not the Roars? I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like some dismount infantry. Looks pretty cool. I actually quite rate the uniform and the fact that they've even put transparent magazines in there. So yeah, you can see how much ammo you've got whilst you're firing. That is some Ali bit of kit there. A cheeky little 4-man Javelin team. That's pretty good. I mean, if we look at the price as well, 75 points, that is going to be the new cheapest Javelin team, which is pretty good. You obviously have basically, yeah, more anti-tank team. Terminal guidance as well for this Javelin, which is pretty good because some of them wait, yeah, all of them are terminal guidance, but this range is 1,300, so yeah, lower than usual. I just wanted to check the price of these guys. I mean, for 50 points, getting a Moors and an MG3 is pretty decent, but they are still pretty lightly armored. So again, I'm assuming that a lot of this is going to change as this update actually gets released. A 50 cal team with just 150 cal. That's surprising, but 40 points, Jesus Christ, that is dirt cheap. That is dirt cheap. I mean, 250s are obviously 50 points, but that's one of the cheapest squads I've seen in the game, you know, that can actually do some decent stuff right there. This is a Stinger. It's the standard Stinger, nothing special, okay? not much time needs to be spent on that one. 75 points, yeah, pretty standard. So the Vilkers squad. I mean, these guys, Gelej, Zinish, yeah, my Estonian is not strong. I'm fluent in Russian, German, but not in the land in between. Yeah, 84s. Okay, so I assume these guys are designed specifically to go into the back of the Vilkers, which we will show you quickly, is this guy. There we go, 8 seats. Cool looking vehicle, to be fair. Basically just looks like a striker, but not a striker, or a boxer, which is what the British have. Yeah, same sort of thing. Vilkers, interestingly, Vilka in Eastern Slavic languages means a fork. So I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. But anyway, yeah, pretty standard configuration. Again, the rifles, FN Mag. Okay, again, very similar to a normal machine gun. Nothing special there. Spike LR. What's funny is the Spike itself isn't modeled. They've just got a Javelin here right now. These guys, again, slightly different uniform. It's going to be confusing because that's more of a Russian uniform, closer to the Russians. A bit of the old classic British DPM, I suppose. Whereas that's obviously, well, is that multicam or am I being blind? I can't zoom in enough to see, but no, it's all these different uniforms. You're asking for a blue on blue bit of friendly fire. We look at the Spike's stats, terminal guidance, it is basically a Javelin, one of the better Javelins there. So voila. Again, all their armor is pretty weak so far. All of them have been 6, which is interesting, but mechanized, so mechanized Kainiki. I should give up. I'm sorry for butchering your language if you are watching from any of the Baltic states. Yeah, pretty decent standard squad. I mean, comparable to the troopers, I suppose. Green light team. So basically like a SEALs kind of wannabe squad, I suppose. They've got just, yeah, rifles, laser designator, and obviously they can swim, which is cool. There's a Russian PDSS, which is obviously similar to these guys. 4 men under barrel grenades, but no laser designator, which does let them down. And their optics, surely not. I hope this is a bug and an error, and they will fix that, because you can't have snipers have, you know, optics of 2000 and then just for some random reason give these guys, you know, the same optics as a vehicle. That would be absolutely insane. Okay, another squad. Again, looks like dismount infantry. 4 rifles with the G3. The G3 is basically similar to, you know, what the old servicemen like to talk about, a proper rifle. Yeah, so there we go. MG3, yeah, little machine gun. Obviously, the fire rate of the MG3 should be very rapid. It is designed for that. There we go, another Moors. Next squad is, again, they're all really cheap squads so far, or even 70 points is, you know, pretty cheap. Okay, some more weapons here. Another Negev, which, again, very comparable with 7.62. So, yeah, all the stats are basically similar to most American units. So, I wonder where the difference really is going to be. They just, like, there's nothing really new here. These guys are basically identical. They just have a different name. I only just noticed that. Yeah, whatever. A sniper. Ah, well, that's the British rifle, isn't it? No, it looks very different. Okay, maybe the logo. I can't really tell. But there we go. It's a 7.62 with 3.6 damage. No, absolutely not. That is ridiculous. No way, Jose. That is more than a 50 cal sniper rifle. So no way in hell is that an accurate number. 3.6 damage at 800 meters. I don't believe it. Okay, we should quickly mention the G-Wagons as well. They're basically recon vehicles with, obviously, high speed, 130, pretty rapid, pretty cheap as well to have a launcher. Fire and forget launchers. Again, it's not like America needs more. America has enough, you know, javelins, etc. as it stands. But yeah, again, I don't think it's actually going to be 40 points. That's way too cheap. The G-Wagon, the American equivalent, is in the game already, and even that costs a bit more. Let's look at the other vehicles, by the way. So, a Humvee. We know what that is, but again, he's got an imaginary... yeah, he's pretending... Yeah, he's making make believe that he's got a javelin on top of the Humvee. So again, pretty cool, but again, ridiculously cheap. No way. CV-90. Okay, this is actually something I am excited about. A vehicle I can actually get behind. So, 7 men in the back. Well, a lot of Russian squads can fit in there. Not so much American, because they tend to be 9 or 6 men. I rarely do get 7-man squads, apart from obviously the ones that we quickly saw here, which tend to be either 4, 5, 6. A lot of variety. Again, you got to remember that it is the Baltic states, but that's 3 separate countries. You know that they can't be compatible perfectly with each other. Now the CV90 is a cool vehicle. Let's have a look. Bushmaster 3. That is cool because most vehicles have the Bushmaster 2 or 1. FN mag machine gun. Nothing exciting there. Apart from its damage is reduced. Why do bullets have different amounts of damage produced? I am not sure. Very slow though. I don't think that speed is an accurate representation. Let's have a look at the Bushmaster 3 here. I think, to be honest, it's sometimes easier to have a look at the simplified view because I mean it's basically the same sort of overview. Okay, good damage on the HE shell. On the AP side, not so much, but I think this is going to be very capable at dealing with infantry and helicopters. Actually, that's a good amount of damage. It's pretty good accuracy as well, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, good gun to have. In terms of the armor though, pretty thin, pretty standard for an MBT. Survivability was 14 health. Okay, so yeah, maybe a Hellfire can one-shot this, but the Russian stuff, it cannot. So we'll survive 2 shots from the Russian stuff. Next vehicle, XA80. Again, I'm pretty sure this is originally German. It's got, well, pretty sure it's a German paint scheme anyway. What's the driver look like? Can't really tell. Well, I think that's Estonia's armed forces there. Yeah, we look at this vehicle, 100 speed, fairly standard armor, 50 cal on top. I'm sure it'll also be upgradable, but there's no way for me to check here. Cool. Vilka's time. Hello Vilkas, you beauty. Cool vehicle, Bushmaster 2, standard stats as with the other American stuff that have it. MG3, standard, and there's your spike. Again, top-down attack, terminal guidance. 2 missiles, good stuff. M113, yeah, just an M113. Nothing special about it. Scimitar, now this is obviously, being from England, being a British officer, this is something I do like to see, some British units being in the game. Obviously it is a bit ancient, this bit of kit, but clearly it still works. And it still is used by nations, so there we go. Its damage, 3, basically the same as a Bushmaster 2. Cool. It's got an FN mag. FN mag, is that the same as the GPMG? I think it is. GPMG. In the comments, I'm sure you'll be able to tell me I'm wrong, etc. And feel free to do so if I am. By the way, forgot to have a quick look at the armor. Pretty standard. 0.8 visibility. What? What the hell is that all about? So it's extra visible. It's more visible than a tank. Okay. Again, something I'm sure that they'll fix. 3 machine guns on the Leopard though. I do think leopards. I struggle to say that word properly. Leopards, leopards, whatever. I do think they're really cool vehicles. To be fair, they're very cool. Good bit of German engineering right there. Let's have a look at its gun stats and its shells, shall we? Again, I'd rather the simplified view. There we go. So it's a lot easier to just read it. Now, the gun is comparable to an American 120. Obviously, Rheinmetall is the manufacturer of those shells. The gun is 1,400 range, which, yeah, that's more than most tanks. Only the SEP V3 and the T14 Armata have that range as standard. All the other tanks, they're 1,300 meters, so yeah, a bit of extra range there. The armor is pretty standard. I mean, decent, but pretty standard at the front. Nothing too good. Well, it's the second highest. It's a SEP V2 maxed out, isn't it? A SEP V3 and an Armata obviously has 850 for the kinetic protection, and this one has the same heat protection, or what is it? What's the proper word for it? Anti-explosive armor. Okay, fair enough. The shells themselves look like they do a lot of damage, actually. The HE shell is good with 12 damage, and yeah, the heat shell does 9 damage. So pretty good weaponry there. Obviously, when you get this upgraded, again, 210 points, not a chance in hell. That's way too cheap for what this is. When you get this upgraded, active protection will come a long way. Speed, I'm a bit surprised that it's 70. I'd expect the Leopard, which is, you know, historically known, especially the Leopard 1, known for its speed, to probably have 80 by default. So yeah, a bit of a surprise there, but maybe the 2A8 might have it different. We're going to look at the sports here. So Unimog, for those who don't know, it's basically a Mercedes, BA, okay. And it's actually kind of impressive. It's a cool little vehicle, can go up really steep terrain, and is a really good off-roader. Speed 95, off-road speed should be higher. Anyway, yeah, 16 men, 4,500 supply in the back. Not sure about that. It doesn't. I don't think it's. I think it's actually surprisingly small and cramped in the back. So maybe not. But yeah, whatever. Panzerhaubitze 2000. Again, if you've played zombies, you're going to know all about it. It's going to have the fastest firing reload time of any arty. So autoloader with standard arty shells, smoke and HE as standard. People are going to be using this as America all the time. With a range of 4,300, which again is pretty good, pretty standard. I imagine, I expect, or I have a feeling that it's going to get upgraded. I mean, it kind of looks like the Coalition. They look very similar, I suppose. Or there's aspects of it. I actually love using this vehicle in War Thunder as a main frontline tank. Anyway, a bit irrelevant, but yeah, there we go. Cool. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Obviously, it's got pretty good speed there as well, but I'd expect it to be a little bit quicker. Here we go. Basically, you know, another American export to the Estonians, I assume, which is basically, yeah, just like a Paladin. Yeah, exactly the same as a Paladin for, is it the same price? 140, actually cheaper. And there we go, the mortar is again another American export. What else is interesting is this UH-60, again, GPMGs on the side, but it's basically just a Black Hawk, 13 seats, 4,000 supply, pretty standard stuff right there. So there we go. That's all the units that we can access so far. Obviously in the video we saw a few extras and we know there's going to be some different stuff as well. They're obviously most likely going to change up all this, you know, the stats there with the prices and stuff like that. But it's an interesting first look at this. I think let's just watch the, you know, the Panzerhaubitze 2000, the German RT piece here, fire, because look, it's not sped up or anything. It is going to be rapid after it reloads. So 3 of these guys are going to be able to deliver a lot of firepower. I think support players are going to absolutely love this setup. So there we go. And next shell, yeah, that is quick, to be fair. Okay, let's talk some more about what else is coming. So here we go, let's have a little read of what else we got. The Baltic Battalion, nice little double B. Again, I'm not sure it should be with the US faction. It should be a separate faction entirely, I think, with Europe. But there we go, it's a specialization within there. So, allows to adapt. Oh, God, this is so cringe. Mix Latvian adaptability, Lithuanian firepower, and Estonian technology. Yeah, when all of your stuff is an import, I'm not sure you can brag about that. But there we go, 24 vehicles and planes, 18 original additions, and 6 interoperable assets previously utilized by the US. Yeah, like basically the imports that I was talking about. A lot of them are basically imports. I do wonder, what do those countries like actually produce that is homegrown? Probably not a lot. And that's fair in today's market. We can have a quick look at the features. Yeah, new specialization, 21 new infantry units. Cool. The new map and the AI. I think the AI is the last thing we've got to say. Essentially, they talked about, here's the requirements if you care. To be honest, I think you need a bit of a beefier computer to help you run this game smoothly. But anyway, the last thing that they talked about, you know, in the discussion was basically that we are going to get, before 2025, the Christmas basically update that we're going to get, a fix, is the AI allied bots for skirmish mode. And that is it. Again, I really think this should be released for Christmas, but no, unfortunately not. What are my thoughts? What are my closing thoughts about this DLC overall? I mean, it's free. I expect it to be free. The sad thing is the fact that the Russian version, so the first Russian DLC, is not going to be free. And when the game starts, when the balance is, terrible already, with Russia losing 60% of the games, or if not higher these days, why don't we have a quick look over here at the little stats from BA Armory. Great website, by the way. Let's have a look here. Statistics, history, and here's the win rate. Okay, so it peaked when the update was released at 60, 30, 40%, which is huge. The whole purpose of the update was to... Oh, sorry, the release is here. Jesus Christ. It's actually worse in more recent times. The whole point of the update was to fix this figure, to get it from 54-45 or 54-46 to 50-50. And actually, they've just made the gap bigger, but the opposite way. So yeah, do we really need an American edition, or do we actually need, a bit of a less unnerf of the barbarous, and potentially some cheaper Russian infantry units, or some more balance? Because this, you can't say this is balanced. You might be an American solo player, you might be a Russian solo player, but either way, you can't be biased and say that this is fair. No way in hell is this fair. The game used to be fairer than what it is today, which is shocking, I know. Nowadays, it's very easy, or it's much easier to win as America, and it's harder to play as Russia. So, yeah, I'm not sure this is the step in the most needed direction. It's a step in the right direction that we're getting more content. Absolutely, we do need more content. Oh, here we go. Nobody is playing Russia these days. Jesus Christ. Nobody is playing Russia. Oh, actually, the deployment rate's more accurate. Yeah. It's huge. Russia, again, used to be close to 50-50. Massive disparity now. Much bigger than it used to be. Which is a shame for me, because I like to play both, as you guys who watch my channel regularly probably already know. So shout out to BA Armory. Great website. Do recommend using it. Here's the site link up there. But ultimately, yeah, whilst it is a step in the right direction because we get more content, it is absolutely not the urgent priority, in my opinion. So overall, it was nice to see that they're trying, but yeah, I can't say I'm too happy. I mean, the show itself was pretty damn boring, and I get they're trying, but I just wish to be honest, I don't know, who's the issue? Is it Slytherin, or was it Steel Balalaika? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And to be honest, let me know what you think about the update, what you think is going to be good, what's going to be bad, and what you think they should do instead. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Happy holidays, yeah. Merry Christmas. Say it properly. And I guess Christmas, yeah, is in 16 days' time. Have a good Christmas, everyone. But I am still going to be releasing daily videos, so yeah, please do keep watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.